Welcome back, everyone. Today we're diving into something fundamental, Earth's own defense system. I mean, we exist within this natural magnetic field.
That's right. It's generated, deep inside the planet. All that motion in the molten core.
And it acts like a shield, doesn't it? Protecting us from, well, solar wind, cosmic rays, all that stuff.
Absolutely essential. It's kind of like nature's baseline for planetary protection. Life as we know it depends on it.
And this is the kicker, it's not like permanent. It's not guaranteed forever.
Precisely. That's what's so fascinating and maybe a little concerning. Over really vast timescales, geological time, this shield weakens. It can fluctuate, even flip entirely.
Flip. Wow. Okay. So it makes you wonder, right? What actually happens if, or maybe when, those natural defenses start to falter in the really long run?
Exactly. And that question, that fundamental vulnerability, it kind of pulls us towards a pretty radical new perspective on reality itself, motion theory.
Motion theory. Okay. Heard bits and pieces. It's basically saying, forget particles, right? Everything is motion.
In essence, yes. It reframes everything we think we know. Gravity, light, time, life itself, not as things or particles traveling, but as structured, rhythmic motion happening on some kind of underlying dynamic substrate.
Huh. So it's all about how these motions interact.
Synchronize. You got it. Synchronization and coherence are key. So gravity, for instance, isn't some spooky force pulling things. It's more like a natural tendency to converge towards areas where motion is highly synchronized, denser in structure.
Okay, like things are drawn to order, in a way. And light.
Light, in this view, isn't a photon particle zipping along. It's more like a ripple, a rhythmic motion that collapses or transfers its pattern.
And time itself.
Time becomes the local rhythm, the tempo of all this motion happening around you. So yeah, the core idea, reality is structure and motion.
Right. Okay. If that's the fundamental setup of reality according to this theory, it opens up some pretty wild possibilities, doesn't it? Like for humanity's future, structured motion defense.
Exactly. We're moving beyond just, hoping for the best, passively weathering cosmic storms.
We could actively build defenses based on understanding this motion.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
It's about graduating from basic survival mode to, actively shaping our local cosmic environment, using the rules of motion to our advantage.
Which brings us, I guess, to this concept, the champagne shield. Sounds a bit celebratory for a defense project.
Well, it's definitely an optimistic outlook on a serious proposal. It's the name given to this idea of humanity's first large-scale structured motion defense project.
Okay, so what is it, actually? What's the plan?
The concept involves deploying these modular structures, sync structures, they're called out, in Lagrange Point 1, L1.
L1, right. That's the spot between Earth and the Sun where gravity kind of balances out.
Exactly. It's a gravitationally stable point, a relatively calm spot in the complex dance of the Earth-Sun system. Makes it an ideal platform, for something designed to influence or harmonize motion fields.
A stable base of operations. Makes sense. And this isn't like building the Death Star overnight, I take it.
Oh, definitely not. No, the proposal starts small. Really small, actually. Yeah. Like an initial coverage of maybe 0.001%.
Tiny.
And it's envisioned as a multi-generational effort, something humanity builds and expands gradually over a very long time.
Wow. That's a huge commitment. Speaks volumes about the potential scale we're talking about.
It does. It's about sustained, proactive effort on a civilizational scale.
So the billion-dollar question then, what are these sync structures? What's the champagne shield actually made of? Sounds like sci-fi stuff.
Well, the concepts involve a few different technologies working together. You might have arrays of highly reflective panels, but reflective not just to light, but designed to deflect specific kinds of, let's call them destabilizing motion waves.
Okay. Deflecting bad vibes, basically.
Sort of, yeah. And then you could have plasma fields. Think of them maybe like dampers designed to absorb chaotic energy to smooth out disruptive motion ripples.
Absorbing chaos and anything else.
Yeah, potentially synchronized material arrays, too. Materials engineered to actively restructure or harmonize incoming motion patterns that could be harmful.
Interesting. But the key thing you mentioned isn't just stopping rocks, right? It's not a physical barrier in the usual sense.
That's crucial. It's not primarily designed to, vaporize an asteroid, though maybe secondary effects could help there. The main goal is different.
It's about managing this sync drift. What exactly is that?
Yeah, sync drift. Imagine like a massive orchestra where tiny sections slowly start playing out of time, just slightly offbeat. Over time, that slight drift can build up and lead to dissonance, maybe even chaos.
Okay, so cosmic dissonance.
Pretty much. The shield aims to prevent that on a planetary scale, to stabilize the structured motion field around Earth, protecting the coherence that, well, allows our biosphere to exist.
So we're building motion harmonizers, not walls.
That's a great way to put it, yes. Harmonizers.
But why go to all this trouble? Why is managing this sync drift, this motion coherence, so vital? What are the actual threats out there that this addresses?
Well, the universe is dynamic, sometimes violently so.
Yeah.
Think about massive solar flares. According to motion theory, these aren't just bursts of particles and radiation in the old sense. They're huge surges of chaotic, disruptive motion.
Which could knock our local orchestra out of sync.
Potentially, yes. Disrupt the fundamental synchronization here. Then you've got even bigger things like supernova shockwaves. These could be powerful enough to actually collapse the local motion gradients, the very structures that define our stable reality.
Collapse reality, that's unsettling.
It's a theoretical risk.
Yeah.
But within this framework, it's a possibility.
Yeah.
And even just the background galactic radiation fields over long enough periods might destabilize the incredibly complex synchronized motion structures that constitute life itself, biological sync.
Wow. Okay. So basically, without actively managing this stuff, this underlying motion, even a planet that seems fine could just lose coherence, fall apart on a fundamental level.
That's a core idea here, yeah. Life isn't just chemistry. It's a highly organized, incredibly coherent state of motion. And maintaining that state, well, it requires protection from all these external chaotic influences trying to disrupt it.
So life needs sync protection.
In this view, absolutely. It's a prerequisite for long-term survival and complexity.
And this circles right back to where we started with Earth's magnetic field. You said it's like nature's version of this. What can we learn from it? What are the takeaways?
Well, first, it clearly shows that localized, structured motion, like our spinning churning core, can generate a large-scale protective field. That's proof of principle.
Okay, structured motion creates protection. Got it.
Second, it shows these shields aren't static. They have to be dynamic, adaptive. Earth's field constantly shifts and responds to the solar wind, to the sun's activity.
Right, it flexes.
Exactly. And third, and this is maybe the most important lesson for the future, stability isn't guaranteed. It requires continuous maintenance. The core keeps churning, the field is maintained. Stop the motion, you lose the shield. Constant sync maintenance is necessary.
So the Champagne Shield takes those lessons, structured motion, dynamism, continuous maintenance, but applies them deliberately with technology.
Precisely. It's like graduating from relying on an unconscious natural process to consciously taking control. We move from a naturally occurring shield to one we actively create, maintain, and importantly, evolve.
Which leads to this idea you mentioned, conscious structured motion defense.
Yeah, it's the principle that maybe for any civilization to survive and thrive in the long term, especially beyond its home planet, it must learn to actively manage its local motion environment, to build and maintain these kinds of shields against the background noise and drift of the cosmos.
So mastering structured motion isn't just like cool physics, it's survival.
In the very long run, according to this theory, yes. Life that masters structured motion, or at least learns to harmonize with it protectively, is the life that endures.
We started this whole deep dive thinking about Earth's magnetic field, how reliable it is long term. It's done a great job for billions of years, but maybe it won't last forever or won't always be enough.
And if motion theory holds water, relying solely on natural defenses over cosmic timescales is, it's a bit of a gamble, a passive stance.
So this Champagne Shield idea, this taming of motion, it feels huge. Almost like, I don't know, like when humans first learned to control fire. A similar kind of fundamental shift.
That's actually a really powerful analogy. I like that. Taming fire fundamentally changed our relationship with energy, with our environment. It allowed us to reshape things, to survive in new ways.
Yeah.
Achieving structured motion mastery, if possible, could be that next leap, allowing us to interact with and maybe stabilize the very fabric of reality around us in a controlled way.
So the shield isn't just defense. It's like step one towards something much bigger, towards actually mastering motion itself.
I think that's the implication, yes. It's a shift from being passive observers or victims of cosmic forces to becoming active participants, active shapers within this framework of reality as structured motion.
It puts our destiny, our long-term future, squarely in our own hands based on how well we can understand and, build with motion.
Exactly. It frames the challenge starkly. Our ability to create and maintain these stable sync fields might determine whether humanity is just a brief flash in the cosmic pan, or if we become a civilization that endures one that genuinely shapes its corner of reality.
Depends on whether we can learn to work with the fundamental nature of things, with that underlying motion.
It seems so. Motion gave us life, allowed complexity to emerge and stabilize within its flows.
I know.
Now perhaps we have to return the favor. Learn to consciously protect and nurture that stability through understanding and working with motion itself.